All right, we are live. Let's get to it. Turn this down a little bit. The volume's a little loud. Can't even hear myself talk. All right, welcome back, everybody. We are in episode 5 of our TwilioQuest JavaScript Test Lab. Well, mainly just TwilioQuest, but we are in the JavaScript Test Lab activity. If you don't remember from last time, or if you weren't here, we helped out this botanist guy, and we got his little passcode key thing. I can't remember it. I hope we didn't have to memorize that. And we did, we went over here and we planted a tree. I don't know if you guys remember that. Did all that stuff. So we're gonna have to go back up to the main explosion site and do some stuff. I don't know which one I should do first. This one, or I think I should do this one first, and then I'll do all the reactor things around this after. So let's get to it. Learn to create a function. Ooh, a reusable chunk of JavaScript code to progress further in the lab. Oh wait, we need to open up VS Code, don't we? I always forget this. Let's open up that bad boy. I want to close all that. Why is there modules in my Git folder? It's not good. Okay, and we are on TwilioQuest. Let's move this over here so you guys can see it. And we'll zoom in. Baby. That's not what I wanted. It's control zoom. Yeah, had the wrong key. Dum dum. Alright. Hopefully this is big enough for you guys. I'll lower this down a little bit more. There we go. Alright. So we've done a couple different things. We had to water the tree and stuff. Figure out what plants needed to be watered. Things like that. And now it sounds like we're going to be learning how to make a function, which is super exciting. So let's get back to TwilioQuest and see what they want us to do. Amid the fun function. Nice. Love the title. Amid the destruction of the accident, you notice a new security barrier blocking off the interior wings of the lab. You examine the security of this barrier and realize that it is powered by a JavaScript function that determines if the barrier's lasers are on or off. You'll need to override the function to disable the laser barrier. Create a file called laserfunction.js. Alright, we are going to copy that name so I don't have to remember it. Create a file called laserfunction.js in your code folder. Inside this file, create a JavaScript function called getLaserSetting. This function should return a string object with the value of off. Once your code is ready, click hack button to override the laser command function. Alright, so the to-do list. Create a file called laserfunction, create the function, and return string off. Alright, let's see if we can do this. So we need whoopsies. Create a file, new file. And it's gonna be called laserfunction.js. And in this file, we need to create a function that says, so function, this is how we make a function. I don't know if we need to name it. Did it say if we needed to name it or not? Probably did. Create a function called getLaserSetting. GetLaserSetting. You know what's weird? I always used to spell laser with a Z. I don't know. Must be preference. Anywho, and this is gonna return a string, which is this, a word that says off. I think that's it. Get laser setting, return off. So now, hopefully, it turns our lasers off. You think it'll work? Boom. Objective clear. Bingo, you successfully override the laser command function and gain access to the rest of the lab. Let's go! Well, I didn't get too much farther. Also, there's fire here. Can't get burnt. I'm immune to the fire. Random thought. Next exercise. Sorry, my dog's making me throw her ball. I told her to quit bothering me while I'm streaming, but she doesn't listen very well. Alright, learn to create a function that accepts arguments so your reusable bits of code can produce different results with different inputs. Okay, we're gonna have arguments now. This security barrier, winning at arguments. Love winning arguments. This security barrier is also malfunctioning, and before long you can see why. Your old pal Glenn, hey Glenn from IT, had configured this security barrier to only shut down if asked nicely. To clear this barrier, you will need to write a function that takes arguments, also called parameters, and execute some basic Boolean logic. Read the help section for more information on function arguments if you need help on using Boolean logic. You may want to conquer the challenges of the lab's south wing first. Okay. No, we already did that. We went into the south wing. Alright, bring down the barrier. Similar to the previous barrier, this one is powered by a JavaScript function that determines if the barrier's laser on or off. You'll need to override this function to disable the laser barrier. Create a file called polite lasers. Gonna copy that thing. In your code folder inside this file, create a JavaScript function called laser setting, get laser setting, just as you did in the last challenge. This time your function must return a different value based on the first argument to the get laser setting function. If the first argument is the string please, return off. If the first argument is anything else, return on. Okay. Not exactly sure what they want here. Maybe I didn't understand it. Let's just get it started and then we'll see. Add new file. Polite lasers. Set a laser function. Polite lasers. We're gonna pretty much do the same thing, only different, I believe. We need to add a parameter here. So, can I just say please? Or does it have to be a string? Based on the first argument of the get laser setting function. If the first argument is the string please return off. Okay, so string. Can't do that. Am I doing this wrong? I'm doing this wrong. Let's see. Let's look at the help real fast. Oh, I don't need quotes. I can just put it in there. Okay. My bad. So I had it right originally. Please, I'm a noob. Alright. If how do we know what the argument is? If magic word is equal to the magic word here, return what should this be else? Return on. Oh. Okay. So if I don't know if we want to, let's go back to the objective. This is taking me way longer than it should, but that's okay. This time your function must return a value based on the first argument of the getting laser setting. Oh. So we don't want this to be please. We just want this to be a word. We'll just use magic word, because that's what the help did. And we're going to say if magic word equals please, then we are going to return off. Boom. Else return on. I don't know why they have them all caps. That's a little aggressive in my opinion. That's okay. I think this is right now. I was overthinking this a little bit, and I'm learning just like you guys are. So let's see if this works. So we have a function with a parameter or a argument called magic word, and if this magic word is equal to please, return off. Else return on. So you can have this magic word be defined. So like in these, how we defined these constants, we could have a magic word that equals to hello, and then you just check to see what it's equal to in this one. But I think that's not the object of this exercise. It's just to make the function. Yeah. Nice. We did it. We did it. We did it. We did it. Hooray. Thank you, Dora. I can't go into space either. This is very anticlimactic. So I can go to the right here, or I can go all the way up here. I think that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go right. Wow, look at all this stuff. Oh, there's nothing in here? You give me a maze of boxes with nothing to do. That's okay. Here we go. Next one. Arrays. Ooh, we're getting heavy here. Alright. Arrays are a common data structure you'll encounter while programming. In order to navigate this freighter, you'll need to learn how they work. So let's see, we enter the east wing of the lab, which appears to be an airlock used by freight carrying vessels. The research team's engineer must have been trapped aboard the supply ship after the explosion of the lab. Scanning recent shipping manifests, you see that the freighter currently docked in the station is called the Infinite Loop. Oh no, Infinite Loops. Its systems are controlled by JavaScript logic that uses arrays or lists of items. So arrays are just like it says, lists of items are just a lot of things bunched together. We'll get into more detail of those shortly, I assume. The control mechanisms blocking your path will require you to write JavaScript code that uses arrays in a variety of ways. Alright. Taking inventory of the situation. Array of sunshine. These titles, man, brilliant. The laser barrier is engaged after the Infinite Loop's cargo inventory was accidentally erased. You'll need to fix it to progress further. Create a file called freight inventory. Everyone say hi to my dog on my left arm. Hi Ivy. Thanks for leaving me alone. You're so great. In your code folder, we're making this file name. Inside this file, declare a variable called inventory. This variable should contain an array with the following 5 strings in order. Alright, so let's get an array going here. And this will make more sense, but like I said, it is just a like a group of things. It's like a big group of could be strings, could be numbers, could be anything. So let's create this freighter inventory JS. Right, there we go. And what are we going to be doing after that? We're going to be declaring a variable called inventory, and it's going to have all of these strings in it as an array in order. Okay, so we're going to do const inventory. I can spell. And this is how you declare an array. So with these little brackets. And then now you just put all your strings in here. So I don't know how many we have. But then you can just put a bunch of them together. So then you can say string 1, string 2, string 3, I want this one, this one, this one, how many are there? Stuff like that. Excuse me. So let's add these. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. Ductipium. Copy. Uranium rod. Copy. Ruthenium isotopes. Copy. This thing's making me sound dumb. Concave lens. Ooh, I know what that is. And refraction panel. Okay. If you guys have never utilized if you're a Microsoft person, the clipboard tool, I highly recommend it. It's very good for this stuff like this. So I can copy and then find all the stuff I just copied. Boom. Ductopium ore. Uranium rod. And you do this by you copy it like normal, and then it gives you a history of everything you copied. And you can get to this by pushing the Windows key and V. So instead of Control V, it's Windows key V. Concave lens, and lastly, we need refraction panel. So now we have an array of all these. Kind of hard to see all of them. Look at all those, an array of strings. I think that's what we needed, and now we can use these in so many different ways. I'm sure we're going to get to it. But yeah, that's our first array. Hooray for arrays! Ha! Heck, let's go. Alright, I bet this has to do with arrays too. Learn to access the data inside arrays using indexes. Boom. Alright, this is probably our last one. Where do you find cards? Index. Ha. Get it? Index cards? That one wasn't as good. I'm not as proud of that. I'm not as proud of that one. Okay, last one. Let's see what we gotta do. The second seal of the airlock is blocked off by another security barrier. Dang security barriers. The JavaScript code that you'll need to fix here is a function that processes shipping manifests. Specifically, there is a function that takes an array of strings as an argument and returns a new string, which is the result of sticking the first and last name items of the array together. You'll need to get this function working properly before you can enter the infinite loop. Create a file called add first to last JS. Okay. In your code folder. In it, define a function of the same name called add first to last. Okay. This function should take one argument, an array of strings. Okay. Your function should return a string, which is the first and last items in the input array. Concatenate together. Some example code you can use as a starting point is provided in the Help tab. Here are some example inputs and outputs. Alright, that is a lot. But the best thing to do is just truck away at it. Just keep on trucking, don't get intimidated. Here we go, add first to last. Already don't know what we're doing, but that's okay. So we're gonna make a function called first to last. It's gonna take some argument, an array of strings it said, I believe. And it's gonna return something. So if it takes an array of strings, can we do the same array of strings we had? Let's see. So we have all of our string arrays. So we'll pass inventory in here. Inventory. And then we're going to have to take the first one and the last one and combine them together. Is that what they wanted? Your function should return a string which is the first and the last items in the input array. Concatenated together. Some example code you can use as a starting point is provided. Let's see what they want us to do. So they have a function. Oh, they got this way more drawn out than I was thinking. First and last equals input array. Okay. The lines of code below will test your function when you run it from the command line with Node.js. Okay. They're doing a lot more dynamic than I am, which is a good thing. So let's do it their way. So we don't even need this. They don't want this at all. They just want it to be a function that can do that. So we're just gonna put input array in there, like they said. And then we're gonna have a first and last variable. I need to put let in front of there. So the difference between const and let, these are, this is a variable we are defining. Let can be changed throughout within the function. Const has to be a constant, so it cannot change. Hence is it an acronym? The shorthand const. So the first and last variable on this is a let, so we can change it, and it's just gonna be an empty string. Do they have a space in theirs? No, I don't believe they do. We won't have a space in ours either. It's dumb. And then they wanted to check to see if the input array has a length, so that's nice. So if the input array, so the parameter that we have right here, if that array is greater than 0, so aka if it has anything in it, we're checking to see if it's empty or not. So if it's greater than 0, then we want to basically run our code, and if not, then we want to say it's empty. Oh, we don't even need an else. We're just not gonna do anything. You could do like console log. They're saying like, hey, this is empty. Didn't know if you knew that. But I guess we're not doing that. Whoops. Okay, so input array, whoops, yeah, dot length. So this measures how many indexes are in the array. So if there's 2, the length's going to be 2. If there's 1, length's going to be 1. If there's 0, the length is going to be 0. So that's how we know if there's something in it. Alright,